Good morning. I hope my voice finds you well. I'm Valentine Cadieux, Director of Sustainability and Environmental Studies at Hamline University. In drawing on our field's ancestral legacy of transformative social healers and educators, Hamline's Sustainability Thrive team and I have used Marshall Gowns' political narrative strategy to organize our story of selves, explanation of the urgency of now, and call to action around the story of us to share with you during this Sustainability Summit. I like to think of Hamline as one of our region's old trees. Hamline is proud of its identity as Minnesota's oldest university, but it means we're deeply embedded in work that needs to happen in paradigm change, in which we're hospicing a dying settler colonial model of education while supporting next generation sustainability relationships. We're educating change makers and menders who are dedicated to transforming what needs to change and healing and mending what needs to be repaired. Today, we're sharing some high points of our work, which is largely about cultivating student leaders and relationships within a wider campus network that includes all of you. Hamline's niche in this ecosystem has significantly to do with our use of public art and uncomfortable creative engagements that we engineer across the many disciplines that are represented in our liberal arts curriculum, with an equation of sustainability with resourcefulness, especially as we grapple with a demographic transition in higher education, in which students' basic needs aren't met as they come into university, so it's much harder to consider an abundant future without a lot of additional supports, and landing on an idea of resilience in a moral context and of healing the relationships that allow us to sustain ourselves and each other. We developed a practice of having resident artists as paradigm workers and leading our efforts really focusing on the centrality of affective and emotional labor that's involved in imagining ourselves as educating toward a future that we could actually inhabit, rather than one of catastrophic failure of our societies. We started with a project called This Thing Still Works, in which we emphasized reusability and resourcefulness, especially of folks who may not see themselves as participating in an affluent sustainability. That reusability and resourcefulness campaign has transformed into two major continuing campaigns. One is a dormware reuse program called Pack and Give Back, and the other is our Umbrella Wasteless campaign, in which we think about how to waste our future less. We've used outdoor classrooms, gardens, and our curriculum to sustain our sustainability work. And we've expanded it this year. We've started a free store, and we've used a lot of theatrical and other performance and visual arts techniques to demonstrate waste diversion and waste prevention, which has both helped engage more folks across campus and has also added an element of exploration and fun to something that people have a lot of anxiety around. We've cultivated our relationship with journalists to help amplify these stories, and we've used some of our most engaging mechanisms around things like our campus garden development and work with our campus food shelf to really show this relationship between environmental justice, addressing climate catastrophe, racially equitable leadership amongst our student groups, class equity, gender equity, and moving toward an idea of sustainability as resilience. I want to share a couple of slides from some Pew research about the demographic shift that's happening in colleges. What we can see here is between 1996 and 2016, and these trends are only accelerating, we're seeing the percentage of students who are in poverty expand dramatically. This is a chart of a share of recent high school graduates enrolling in college by income group, and especially in the less competitive small liberal arts colleges that have tended to be thought of as high income, we can see that the bottom 20% of income is rapidly making up more than half of our student body. This has really shifted our relationships to understand how we can best support leadership amongst those most affected by these issues. Part of what really struck me as I worked through the last 6 years of highlights was that nothing we've done has been done without other campuses. To see the networks within the Twin Cities and really the whole larger Upper Midwest with Campus Compact, with the Upper Midwest Association for Campus Sustainability, it feels like what we could do together is a really important part of our conversations that we have over the next few days together. The stories that we most collectively wanted to hear were mostly about how we're able to work together to change the stories that we have unsuccessfully been attempting to get supported, and to think about how we can raise our collective literacy and engagement with supporters like the Environmental Protection Agency or the pollution control agencies and equivalents in other states, to figure out how do we show the skilled, amazing work our students are doing to re-engineer systems and really change paradigms, and think, as we increasingly call it in our Hamline curriculum, think about being guardians and engaging in planetary care, understanding how to share the moral resilience under regimes that ask students to do what they don't want to do in terms of harm to their communities and environments, and to change the imperatives and change the systems. It has to be work that somebody wants to fund, and I'm confident together that we can figure out how to pitch some projects that show the value of this work. So thank you all for your work together. This is us headed off to the Climate March, and I hope to see you all when we can next do that again. Thank you so much to the MACP facilitators of this process and the Connexio facilitators of this year's summit, and to all of you for participating and sharing your amazing creative ideas and work.